Good evening, everyone, and welcome to May 23rd, 2016 Board of Education special meeting. For those of you following at home, we are at agenda item 4, returning to open session. The time is now 6:02. That moves us right into recognitions, and up first is communications from CFT. They're going to go first and introduce our spotlight video from Jefferson Middle School.
I'm letting my principal come up. Hi. Hi. Tonight, I'd like to take a moment to recognize all of the Unit 4 AVID teachers. AVID stands for Advancement via Individual Determination. And let me tell you, AVID teachers are certainly determined to do whatever it takes to help our students find success. Not only do AVID teachers do their normal job of teaching English, math, science, or social studies, but we also pretty much adopt a whole class of students in our AVID elective section. We teach the AVID curriculum, help our students stay organized, advocate for access to rigorous courses for our students, and challenge them to be critical thinkers and role models in their other classes. We also organize study sessions, take students to the library to get summer reading materials, host family nights throughout the year, plan college field trips, do a whole lot of fundraising for all those trips and events. We help students prepare for college applications, essays, and scholarships. We take them shopping for college books and supplies, connect them with study groups, find volunteer opportunities for them, and most importantly, we become their school family. Every so often, we are called upon to help our schools achieve national demonstration status. This is really a 2-year process that involves training, coaching, countless visits by people from within AVID as well as people from other schools. It also involves taking a critical look at the systems in place at our school, identifying our strengths, and owning our areas of growth while creating plans for continued improvement. This journey isn't just taken by the AVID teachers and their students. The whole school is along for the ride. As part of the process, you essentially create a binder of evidence that shows why your school should be considered for this honor. Well, tonight, I'll present to you in a moment, I forgot it at my table, Jefferson's binder. It might seem a little bit lengthy, but the thing is, it wasn't hard to create. It simply represents who we are and the things that we do day in and day out for our students. Would you like to present the binder? Thank you. So Angie, if you have a few words, and I think then Stephanie has a video to share. Let me stand up here with you.
Sure.
All right.
Hi. It has been a long and very inspiring journey the last few years at Jefferson while regaining our AVID demonstration status, and to see the looks on the students' faces and the parents' faces and knowing the blood, sweat, and tears that came from our teachers to make this worthwhile was very heartwarming. And it's for the kids. And we are thrilled to have that status back at Jefferson for what it provides for our current students and our future students as well. We actually I have a couple students here from Jefferson this evening to talk about facilities, but we do have one AVID student with us. Cameron McMullen, you want to just kind of give a wave? He was also a part of an AVID panel along the way. And so thanks for your support, the board support, Unit 4 support for AVID in our schools. Okay.
Video time.
You're going to cry. You're proud of you.
It helps you stay organized and study, and it makes me want to go to college because I know that I can be somebody.
How it helps you with your grades and your GPA. How it keeps me organized all the time.
Well, AVID is a program that helps kids prepare for high school and college, and I love AVID because if you were stuck on a question, if you're stuck on a question, we do groups called with TRS, and you guys focus on that question, and on every Friday we have binder checks to make sure all our stuff is in our correct places and nothing in the tab of it, and so it's these day and it helps you like stay organized, so like you're better and like more like prepared for each of your classes.
And I like how they work hard with me, because you know I can tend to be unorganized with myself, but they really push me to reach the goals that I set for myself. So if I set myself high goals, then they'll help me to achieve those goals. Like they'll help me to overcome the obstacles that are put in front of me, so that I can reach the goals that I set for myself. And they help me really to crack down on myself, because me personally, I need like an extra person to really push me to achieve the goals that I set, because sometimes I can tend to be lazy. But with Avid, it helps me to push harder and not give up even when things make it hard. It helps me to persevere through the obstacles and to reach my goals.
I think everybody should have the opportunity to be in this curriculum because it's a really helpful thing to be in.
I love Avid because it helps kids get organized for their future and it gets them on the right track to going to high school and then college and later education. It makes them work together and collaborate with one another. It makes them use their resources, ask a lot of questions, so they're asking those higher level thoughts instead of the basic questions that they're asking. So I try to push them to think beyond the basics and go above and beyond, think outside of the box. So Avid is an awesome program that every kid should have the opportunity to be a part of once in their life, because it will help them with later educational opportunities. This is what Avid looks like.
Thank you, Jen and Angie, for that report.
Can I give you one more thing?
You may.
Because we hauled it in my minute aid. So there are many wonderful things that have taken place at Jefferson this year, just to keep things brief, I'd prepared to talk about a few other things, but since I brought a prop, I definitely wanted to show you on our Change for Change event in the fall. Jefferson came out on top. We raised about $1,100 from our students, and this was going to be placed in our gym. And we just wanted to bring it to you and show you all the wonderful things that our kids at all three middle schools are doing. And so we were the lucky recipients of the Jaguar Penny mural. So this was completed by artist Talia from Thankful Thinking. So just wanted to bring that so you could see it. It's all pennies. It's really cool. So thanks.
Very cool. How many pennies are on there?
2,710.
Very nice.
You didn't think I'd know.
No, I figured you would know. That's why I asked. I was actually interested in knowing. Very cool. Lots of great things happening at Jefferson, along with the rest of the district. So, very nice. All right, that moves us to agenda item 6, public comments. We have comment cards in the back on the table. If anyone would like to make public comment, now would be the time, the opportunity. Going once, twice. All right, moving on to agenda item 7. We have done 7A, communications from CFT, unless you had anything else, Jen. All righty. 7B, communications from CSP. Seeing none. 7C, communications from PTA Council. 7D, communications from the Director of Communications and Community Relations, Miss Stephanie Stewart.
Good evening. This is an incredibly exciting time of year as graduation is upon us. 8th grade promotion, I think all of them were this morning. And so it's a great time of year to really celebrate all of the successes. So it's great to hear from Jefferson today just on all they've accomplished this school year. I just wanted to share out a couple of different things that we're talking about on social media right now. And for those who are going to be watching the recording or in the audience, you can follow us on our Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram accounts now, which is very exciting for us and the community. This week, we were able to share a couple of great videos that have been produced about, the first one is about how Novak students are learning about social justice from the Randolph Street Community Garden. And I think it's a great video that shows that collaboration between community and school. And it's just wonderful to see the faces of community members that you come to know and how it's impacting student learning. And another one is about the deep collaboration that's taking place at Kenwood with some of our university partners and the research that's taking place that really will impact generations of learners down the road. And our kids are right at that cutting edge. And so those are two great pieces. I also wanted to share out a couple of different things that relate to career preparedness. I've been working with Mark Shagnon to help spread the word about some programs that he's been working on, specifically the Young Entrepreneurship Program, which they just had their capstone event at Enterprise Works at the Research Park. We sent out a press release about it, but I just wanted to take this time to spotlight that as well. 14 Unit 4 students had the opportunity to create business plans and even start their own business this semester, working with community partners. And so as an extension of that, and really as a recognition for all that our local employers do for our students, Mark had a letter to the editor published in the News Gazette this past Saturday, and he really wanted to extend his gratitude for all that's been taking place. We've been working on internship programs in our community with our students for I think 20 years now. Mark's been with us for quite some time. Dr. Wiegand would remember specifically. And Mark will actually be on WDWS tomorrow afternoon with Scott Beatty, just to highlight not only Young Entrepreneurship Program, but also our ECP program that's getting our kids out in the community. I just want to emphasize that today. Also, just to keep the community up to date, that we continue to share our information and post documents on our facility planning website. And our board member, Kathy Richards, she continues to post on the Board Corner blog and sort of unpack these documents and make it consumable for the general public, because it's a lot to take in and we're moving at lightning speed. But a lot of things are taking place. You can also submit your feedback on that website and it'll be part of those facility committee meetings. And so I just want to emphasize that as well. And that's all I have for today. Thanks.
Thank you, Stephanie. 7E, communications from board members. Open up the floor. Ms. Stuckey.
We had some kids graduate at Ready last week, and congratulations to them. Also, I got a chance to go to the Young Entrepreneurs presentation, and there are some kids out there with some very interesting ideas. They're working very hard to make them happen, so good luck to them.
Thanks, Lynn. Mr. Westfield.
Last week I was able to attend Bodenfield's Fun Day, and I was actually floored when I spoke to their administrative staff about they had a 76% decrease in discipline numbers from last year to this year, and I was very impressed with that. I thought that was phenomenal. I want to thank Ms. Schoonover, their invitation from Edison to attend their 8th grade promotion. All the years of being an SRO there, this was the first year that I actually got to attend one of the ceremonies, and I thought it was a wonderful occasion. And I want to thank Mr. Kasowski and his staff for allowing me to come over to IPA for their fun day. I purposely stayed back while they had the water balloons. I just didn't feel that that was something that I really needed to participate in. But I thought it was a wonderful day. The students just seemed to enjoy it. Staff was very excited and involved, and I think it's one of those deals that, as the year rolls around, I think getting out and being able to attend those is a great activity for board members and district people alike.
Thanks, Sean. Ms. Shannon?
So first I want to say it was great attending the Edison 8th grade graduation. I had to be anonymous in the audience because my daughter did not want me to be up on stage. But, in future years, I look forward to actually, maybe attending middle school graduations non-anonymously. I also went to the Ready graduation. It was fantastic hearing those seniors' stories. And last week I was able to attend some SRO forums where I was hearing some of the students and their feedback about the SRO program. And I just think it's fantastic that we go out and solicit this kind of input directly from our students. And I love that we're listening to their voices.
Thanks, Kathy. Ms. Richards? Awesome.
Just speaking as a parent, I was also at the Edison promotion, and I wanted to thank State Senator Scott Bennett, who spoke at the promotion, and according to my son, quote, he managed to say something interesting, which is pretty high praise from a middle schooler, and so we really appreciated his taking time out of his schedule to come. And I'm just going to go totally sappy. And, we all love to make middle school sort of the butt of every joke and the, oh, middle school. But, our middle school teachers and our middle school administrators, they actually willingly spend time in buildings year after year with this just the age of such transformation, just looking at those 8th graders today and remembering what they were like just 2 years ago. It's a phenomenal time, and I'm just gonna get all. So thank you to everybody.
Thanks, Kathy. Dr. Baker?
The question is, what haven't we done? We've been everywhere. I guess I'll pick up and highlight the retirement dinner. I think that was amazing to hear how many years of service they all gave, and they're leaving our district, hopefully coming back as subs. But they've gave a lot of time to a lot of our kids, and I was very appreciative of that. I also had the honor of attending the honor ceremonies for both Central and Centennial. Got to see our own Summer and Mac get awarded some awards. It was great to see both of those events happening. I also attended the Jefferson 8th grade promotion this morning and got to hear Dee Brown. Students loved it. They did the Running Man. You had an awesome ceremony. There was a student also who had only missed, a day and a half of school since kindergarten. It was a her, and I don't know. She didn't say, but it was. Oh yeah, it was amazing. And then lastly, I wanted to congratulate. The president brought it up a few meetings ago about Sharon Maynor, who's a Central student and did excellent at the state meet in both the 400 and 200. So definitely congratulate her.
Thanks, Janina. Yeah.
So I had the honor of attending the 8th grade ceremony at Franklin Middle School today. And Sarah Sanders was awesome in her presentation until she's lost it just a tiny bit because she had a graduate in the audience. So it was emotional there, and it was incredible to see the community come together. There were so many parents and grandparents and family, extended family in the audience. The gym was packed. And it's, you know, I talk about inclusion, and I know a lot of people attach that with me to special needs, but what a beautiful environment of people in that gym and a collection of just life. It was incredible to look out and just see the different walks of life all in one room, and so successful. So it was great to be at Franklin this morning. Dee Brown also spoke, but we didn't get the running man, so I'll be in touch with him for that. But Dee actually, the one thing he really spoke about repeatedly and brought lots of applause was respect for themselves and respect for others and respect for adults. So it was, he gave a great message this morning. It was great. So.
Thanks, Amy. That leaves me, I believe. So I've done nothing. I actually did not go to an 8th grade promotion. I did go to 2 last year, though. So, Angie, I will do Edison next. I know broken promises, for shame. But you were well represented by the board. And Greg, I do apologize for not being able to make it to Centennial's Honor Night. I was here, a facilities meeting, but I did make it to Central's honors program on Friday morning last week. And what I wanted to talk about and share, it was a wonderful presentation. And it kind of goes with kind of the facilities conversation that we're having, and how many of the students were representing at a high level of success in multiple disciplines, in music, in the athletics, in the academics. And another observation that Dr. Baker and I got to sit next to each other, I think there was one male, but the STEM awards were all it was a fascinating observation that the women at Central were dominating STEM, the sciences. And so it was lots of great things going on in the district. Extremely proud to be part of it. Proud of all of our graduates, proud of all of our 8th graders going on to promotion, 5th graders going on to middle school. So a really neat, unique time of the year. Kind of no way to explain it. I think I've had one off night in the past 2 weeks, but it really is, it breathes life into this, being part of this. So it's fun, kind of refills the tank a little bit. So facilities conversations are in full swing. We are meeting practically every Thursday. We'll be back here Thursday continuing the conversation. So welcome anyone to tune in and be part of that. We kind of really honored that. We're really take any and all comments, and good, bad, agreements or disagreement, we'll take it. And then the board also, both with CFT and CSP, has entered into contract negotiations. So it is my desire as board president that those continue to go well, and that looking forward to those going well. So, all right, if no one else has comment, a second round, shall we? No? All right, we'll move on then. Finally, 7F, our last evening. Is this our last evening with our student ambassadors? Summer and Mac, I know you're giving a presentation, so if you want to be brief, but could you tell us kind of what your plans are, both of you, for the upcoming future, immediate future?
Okay. Yeah, so next fall I'll be attending Georgetown University in Washington, D.C., studying international relations. And I don't know exactly what I plan to do with that, but it's gonna be an adventure. So
I'll be on the other side of the country from Mac, and I'll be in California at Stanford, and I don't know what I'm going to study, but I'm gonna try to do good at whatever I study and whatever I choose to do. Yeah, so let's see how that goes.
Well, congratulations to both of you, and we all wish you the best of luck and are sure you will be successful in whatever it is you choose to do and work with those degrees. So, very good. So, all right. That brings us to agenda item 8, informational items and upcoming events. I will read these rather quickly. A short list this evening. May 24th, 2016, tomorrow, Novak Senior Celebration, 6 p.m., the Early Childhood Center. May 26th, Tier 2 Facilities Meeting here, 6 p.m. May 30th, 2016, Memorial Day, no school. May 31st, 2016, Central High School graduation, 7 p.m. at Krannert. And June 1st, 2016, Centennial High School graduation, 7 p.m. at Krannert. Takes us to agenda item 9, action agenda. New business. 9A, Administrative Appointment, Director of Information Systems and Network Security. I'll turn it over to Mr. Ken Kleber.
Good evening. The position of Director of Information Systems and Network Security was advertised through the district's website, the Illinois Association of School Administrators Job Bank, and Indeed.com. 8 candidates were interviewed by a Level 1 team of district administrators and other staff representatives. 2 candidates were interviewed by a Level 2 team of district administration. I'm going to ask him to stand. Mr. John Gutzmer was selected as the most outstanding candidate. Mr. Gutzmer has been employed as Manager of Infrastructure with Wolfram Research in Champaign since 2009. Primary responsibilities of this position included hiring and management of IT personnel, management of internal and external security, and implementation of and training on upgraded network systems. Prior to his position at Wolfram, Mr. Gutzmer was employed with Caterpillar, Inc., Champaign Simulation Center, as a systems administrator from 2003 through 2009. His responsibilities included the management of IT support, supervision of web development, and management of networks, computers, licenses, and software. Mr. Gutzmer's work history also includes working for the Center in Women in Transition as network administrator from 2002 to 2003. Mr. Gutzmer holds a Master of Science in General Engineering and a Bachelor of Science in General Engineering, both earned at the U of I here in Urbana-Champaign. And we are recommending the appointment of Mr. Gutzmer as the Director of Information Systems and Network Security for Champaign Unit 4 Schools.
Thank you, Ken. I need a motion to approve the appointment.
So moved. Second.
Stuckey Richards, questions? Tammy, please call roll.
Yes. Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Motion passes 7-0. Congratulations, Ms. Gutzmer. Mr. Did I really just say Mr. Gutzmer?
I'd just like to briefly thank the board and the district. I'm really excited about this opportunity to help advance technology for the staff and the students and to make a positive difference for the community.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Welcome aboard. Okay. That moves us to agenda item 10, reports, new business, and those following at home, we've moved 11B and 11C to this section of the reports, so they'll be after what is already there. 10A, student voice presentation on facilities, elementary, middle, and high schools, presented by Dr. Susan Zola, Angela Smith, Ms. Stephanie Stewart, Summer Choi, and Mac Dressman.
So I'd invite our 3 elementary principals and the student ambassadors from the elementary campuses to come forward, and we can pull some chairs up. I think we'll need 6, right? So we have three presentations, each from the level, so we'll be thoughtful in the amount of time that we utilize as you listen to the voices from the elementary and then eventually middle and high school. We at the elementary level wanted to provide some feedback to you as the Board of Education as you consider the needs of our campuses. We have the unique opportunity, obviously, to have several renovated spaces, but remaining in front of us tonight are Dr. Howard, Southside, and International Prep Academy. So I'll briefly walk through a few slides that provide voice from all 12 campuses. Each building administrator met with the 5th grade students and responded to a few questions. And these were some of the big ideas that were repetitive or we enjoyed and wanted to share. If you could build your dream school, what would you learn there? And you can see a list of some academic options as well as some early STEM thinking and a variety of tasks. What does your dream school look like? Big and purple. It obviously has a lot of art made out of glass, but safe glass. You can see the protected idea. Obviously, kids would have a space that has lockers, very welcoming, thoughtful around the planetarium, auditorium, science, trampoline walls, something we would all enjoy, and Chromebooks built into the desks. That is cool. What do you like about your current school? The piazza, obviously specific to the BTW space, obviously Chromebooks on our campuses, band and strings, science, their teachers, the safety and calm, the big and wideness. I believe it's supposed to be, it has the best man principle in the world, but we went with the, as it was written. And of course, we're all grateful that when we remodel, the bugs become just a part of our regular science curriculum. What would you... What would you change about your current school? Obviously, a larger lunchroom, some place to deal with the sound in the cafeteria. The swimming pool option is always good at the elementary level. Larger classroom, space to eat outside, more eco-friendly elevators, floors, windows, location in the lunchroom. You kind of read through the traffic flow, the colors, more library time, computer lab space, more library books, a safe tornado room, longer hours, which I thought was very thoughtful from our 5th graders, a bigger gym, and more restroom options. So now we'll actually hear from the 3 campuses that are left to be renovated at the elementary level, and I'll ask Principal Starwell and her ambassador to walk through what they would change. You can actually slide, I think those are on, and stay at your... And so they're going to give us a quick sort of from the Dr. Howard point of view, and then the student ambassador will share their thinking as well.
So the streaming theme initially was the bug issue, and I tried to point out that bugs are everywhere in the United States, in every school, everywhere, and we got refocused about actual facilities and programs. So they were very creative, and the faster they spieled off all the things up on the screen there, the faster I typed, and I even got all excited about some of the things they came up with that I would have never thought of. So Sam is representing Dr. Howard today. He's wrote some very thoughtful insight into what he sees Dr. Howard as now and what it might be for the future.
Hi, I'm Sam Minnan. I'm from Dr. Howard. And at the moment, our school has not much to like about it. Yes, it's historic. Yes, it has good teachers. Yes, the art room has nice tables. And yes, we have nice lunch tables. But think about all the bads. They're overwhelming. With this new school, we could fix at least some of the problems, like roaches in the cafeterium, which is 1, unsanitary, and 2, disgusting. Another problem that we suffer through is how grimy the bathrooms are, and how we hate using them. I could go on like this for a very long time, but I'll move on to what an ideal school would be. My ideal school would have a sleek, modern exterior with a kindergarten annex. The kindergarten rooms would be painted of a festive color, like light green, and on one side would be a wall-sized whiteboard, which would double as a projector screen, and like the smartboard, you would be able to draw on it, because it's actually a whiteboard. The office would be on the first floor like now, but the teacher's lounge and principal's study would also be there, along with the specials rooms, separate cafeteria, and a massive library. To get up to another level, you would take an escalator or stairs. The escalator would be fun, with each step being a different color. On the second floor would be the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd grade classrooms. except they would, oh wait, the first grade classrooms would be similar to the kindergarten classrooms, except they would be a different color and have personal desks. The second and third grade classrooms would have a modern white tiled floor and whiteboards on all sides. Plus, each desk would be like a mini cubicle with a light and no cheat sides. The third level would be for the fourth and fifth grade plus the computer lab. The classrooms would be bigger than the first, second, and third grade classrooms, but would basically be the same. Each hallway would be large and have comfortable seating. In the computer lab would be beanbag seating with mini computer desks to fit the beanbag size. Now, we move on to my favorite part, the greenhouse roof. On the roof the roof would be covered with grass and surrounded by a safety fence. In the middle of the roof would be a greenhouse, which would hold all sorts of flowers. We move on to the library, lunchroom, and bathrooms. The library would be large, with walnut pods and a hardwood floor. The lunchroom would be brightly lit and serve good food made there. The bathrooms would be great, with large stalls and have toilet seats that have rotating plastic wrap around them. They would also have blow dryers. The specials rooms, I think, should be designed by the specials teachers because they will be there all day and it needs to fit their needs. Thank you for listening about my wants for a new school, and I hope you take them to consideration if we do get a new school.
Thank you,
Excellent
Sam.
work, Dr. Howard team. International Prep Academy is our next presenter, and the principal, Mr. Kosofsky, and his ambassador will show some insights from the IPA work.
So it's been an interesting journey for IPA. For those who don't remember, we didn't have a fifth grade last year, or a fourth grade for that matter. So our fifth graders came from Garden Hills. So they came from a remodeled building, and now they are in a non-remodeled building. So they've kind of gotten to live both sides of that spectrum. And the class shared a lot of interesting perspectives and ideas coming from that environment where they came from a remodeled building and a new environment to what we live is the dream right now. So Lizbeth is going to share some of those thoughts that her friends came up with in the class, and hopefully you take them into consideration.
Hi, I'm Lisbeth. Some thoughts we were thinking about in my class were that we have a separate gym and a separate cafeteria, and the gym a little bit bigger, so we can play a lot of things, and maybe 2 teachers for a gym class. And also the cafeteria will be bigger, but like separate, so 2 classes can have, like 2 different grades can have lunch at the same time. Also, we were talking about the part that one could be for like little kids and the other one will be like for bigger kids, so they can play like different things and don't have to be in the smaller playground. And also more classrooms and maybe a computer lab and maybe like days, like special days in months, like I don't know, maybe electronic day, like bring our electronics or something. And that was almost it. A bigger library, and maybe they should like remodel the building. So it has more like water fountains in each hall and sort of stuff. Maybe bathrooms in the hallways, because there's like some, I think almost all of the rooms have bathrooms, but not all of them make kids have to walk all the way to the bathrooms. That was almost it that we talked about in the class.
Very good. Thank you for
Thanks,
our
Elizabeth.
representatives for the IPA. Finally, our neighbors, the South Side, and some insights from their principal, Mr. Taylor, and his student ambassador.
So when we were asked to give the survey to our fifth graders, I expected some of the more outlandish suggestions for schools, and but what really impressed me was how thoughtful the fifth graders were and how insightful they were into the issues that we face at our school. And I think they really appreciated being asked, because they took it seriously, and we ended up taken a lot longer than I thought we would because it really turned into a really productive discussion. And I brought with me today Cortez, one of our 5th graders, and he's going to share with you some of his ideas.
To the men and women of our Board of Education, my name is Cortez Stevenson, and I am currently a 5th grade student at Southside School. I've been there since I was in kindergarten. There are many things about Southside that I love. Here they are. I love the big windows, so does my teacher, because our view of outside is great. I also like the air conditioners for those hot summer days. Another thing I like is the playground, because I get to play with my friends outside. Another thing I like is the roof, because it protects us when it rains. The last thing that I like about the school is the wide hallway, so many classes can walk by. Here is what I would like to change. Make classrooms bigger to allow more storage for rooms and books. Make the school larger to allow room for each grade level. Add a computer lab. Make the library larger to fit more books to read. Add a cafeteria separated from the gym. Add office space so people don't have offices in locker rooms and closets. Please add a music room so we don't have to go outside to a portable for music. Please put the office by the front door instead of in the upstairs hallway. Thank you.
Thank you, Cortez.
And that concludes the voice from the elementary level. Now, I believe our middle schools.
I did have one question.
Sure.
Which school are we making purple?
I think we're open. I think we're open to the purple part.
Purple, open. I do like purple a lot.
Okay, excellent. Thank you to our elementary principals and
Thank
to their
you.
student ambassadors.
If I can invite the middle school principals and their ambassadors up, please. Bring more chairs. We were going to bring more, but we felt this would be enough. We were all pretty deep at the middle level. Okay, so at the middle school, we joined the conversation a little bit late as far as Tier 1 and 2 facility needs, so thank you for adding us. We gave our students a survey, so I'm going to go through the data a little bit, and then I'll have the students speak to you. See our books there, Voices from the Middle Schools, because students do have a lot of knowledge, right? So with the discussion came the addition of Edison, Franklin, and Jefferson's voice. For the sake of the conversations that have been ongoing, we're going to focus a little bit more on Edison. I think we all understand why. We issued a survey that was distributed to all middle school students. 629 responded, 629 students responded. Not all questions were answered. So what we did was we coded the information that came through, so some students may have omitted a question if it wasn't relevant to them. The survey consisted of 6 questions, 2 multiple choice, and 4 short answers, because that equals 6 instead of 8. Here are some of the questions that were multiple choice. What is your current grade level? And if you could choose one, which of the following STEAM areas would interest you? And we looked at the T part, because science and math is offered. It's a given. It's not a choice. Grade level, 6th, 7th, and 8th graders. Those are our responders. 45% from 6th grade, 15.7 from 7th, and 38.9 from 8th. So which areas interest you most? If you start right there where it says 21%, that's music. And if you go around, engineering is 28%, theater at 10, 11 for dance, 17 at art, 10 at videography, and 3 at agriculture. And those dynamics would change if you looked at the grade levels. We also have that option in career cruising. Open-ended questions. What did you enjoy most about your elementary school? What do you like most about your current middle school? If you could change 2 things, what would they be? When you think about high school, what is the one thing you hope to have regarding facilities and programs? And so we had to code because middle school students gave their voice. So we went through the information, and this is how it broke down. A lot of students really liked things that dealt with classes, buildings, teachers, recess, and in the environment. Those were the top 5. Then we had friends and field trips and all of that. One person liked ISAT week, and we thought, yeah. But we're not doing ISATs anymore, so we'll Comparing middle to elementary reflections, the things that stood out when we looked into the long-ended responses, all middle schools across the board for the most part spoke to the big playgrounds. That was resounding, as well as the big classrooms that were something that they enjoyed at elementary. When we sifted out Edison, the 2 things that they thought when they look back that they really enjoyed was their big playgrounds, but gyms and the gymnasium and PE was something that they thought they missed the most. What do you like about middle school? So the same coding, classes, building, teachers, friendships. Friends took a slide up. And then people. In general, just people in the building, different staff, extracurricular activities, sports, nothing, everything. It's the middle. 169 students focused on instruction, though, when we broke it down, we went deeper into the data. A lot of them mentioned Encore, so shout out to the Encore teachers. PE, all classes. Some students just couldn't decide, they loved everything. Social studies and math, science, reading, and writing. So those are unprompted responses. More specifics on things that students liked about middle school. So we went in and we pulled out things that we saw coming through often. Lunch, the size of school, design of the building. They liked their school's location, and then changing classes. We looked at Edison students more closely. They liked the size of their school, location, design of the building and wide hallways in particular. Charming, easy to navigate, and that means we saw that often, at least 6 times. Located close to the library. And then they like changing classes also. 2 things students would change, and we sifted out Edison once again. We looked at environment, building, classes, and people. And then this is a closer look. More class time, more technology clubs, more time to do work in school, more field trips and longer passing periods. And I would like school to start later. So we captured little things that stuck out in the end. Building changes, bigger classrooms, an art studio, better windows and space to play, or a soccer field in a playground. Build a new school, cafeteria. I want thermal, energy, and solar. Class changes, more electives, more say in my schedule. Students want to choose what their schedule was each day, and we heard that with other groups as well. More time in math. I want everyone to have a Chromebook, and we're working on that. Students hope they will have the following in high school. Their focus is on classroom, sports, building, extracurricular, and then they get to the other people and choices. Here's some of the highlights. Bigger spaces in high school, bigger lockers, something they're looking forward to, air conditioning, bigger hallways and classrooms. I'm excited to have actual lab spaces and equipment. As far as classes, computer technology, they're looking forward to photography, art and fashion, welding and cooking, Mr. Shagnon, science, physics, anatomy, and aerospace, music, band, choir, strings, and guitar. Sports, they're looking forward to more field space, lacrosse and gymnastics, a pool in both locations, they've been watching the news, athletic facilities including a BMX park, air conditioning, and a football field, better lockers than in middle school. They hope to have this at high school when you look at the breakdown in a number of responses: computer technology, music, science, art, PE, driver's ed, CTE, and you see the list. As far as sports, these were their areas of interest. Any sport, students just want to be involved. Basketball, football, soccer, archery, track, cheer, water sports, softball, volleyball. So in the end, what do they hope to have at high school? Bigger, better facilities. Cafeteria, classrooms, hallways, lockers, fields, internet, lunch, science, computer labs, technology, air conditioning, dedicated studio space, more fields, updated clean restrooms, or warm, warm water. That's all that I'm going to say about that. I feel like we have enough students here to give you a little bit more up close and personal conversation, and each principal will introduce their ambassadors. Ambassadors, if you can tell us your name and two or three things you love about your school and 2 or 3 things you change. You can hear it straight from them. We'll start with Jefferson, and can we have Edison last because we'll ask you an additional question.
Hello again. I had the pleasure and privilege to bring Journey Mays and Cameron McMullen here with me today. They're both 7th graders at Jefferson, and they are both, just found this out, alumni of Robeson Elementary. And so, Ms. Smith, do you want me to speak from my seat as well, or just for the students' voice? Do you want them?
I think we want the students' voice.
Okay, just students' voice? Okay, sure. We're going to argue over who goes first. It doesn't matter. I'll help you out. This is no stress. Okay. Journey, you can, well, we'll start with positive. What do you like about Jefferson?
My name is Journey, and I go to Jefferson. I actually like changing classes. I actually like being in a community with my, just Jefferson, and it just feels good, and I know a lot of people there, and it just feels good. But one thing that I would change about Jefferson is bigger space, because I haven't been in a classroom that does not have a lot of space, and it doesn't feel good, and it just feels so crammed, and you don't get a lot of, get able to move and stuff. So that's one thing that I would change about Jefferson.
Journey. And I picked Journey in particular. She's actually in one of her classrooms is in a closet at Jefferson. It's a space in between 2 rooms that we've had to use for the past few years because I know. You don't even know about it. It's in the 8th grade hallway.
My name is Cameron McMullen, and I'm in 7th grade. And what I like about Jefferson is that we have a lot of space to outside to play, and when we go to PE, there's a lot of stuff to do, and the PE teachers give good games and stuff, and I like how big the lunchroom is, and you get a lot of space in there. But when you go to the classrooms, you don't get that much space, or the hallways. And one thing that I changed is that I wouldn't want to be so close to the community. I wouldn't want to be right next to Centennial or all those houses. I would want to be out far somewhere so we can get a lot of things like other fields and have our own fields and just recess.
Thank you, Cameron. Okay. We're going to go to Franklin. Yeah. You want to move your seat over?
I'm Sarah Sanders, and I'm the principal at Franklin Middle School. Is it okay that I have this here? Okay. And I brought Kai Steinman, who's my son and just was promoted today, and he owes me one, so that's why he's here. He's so happy about it. So, ready? Here.
My name is Kai Steinman, and I go to Franklin Middle School. And one of the things I like at Franklin is how encouraging the teachers are. They encourage you a lot to get your work done and stay on task and stay focused and everything. I also like how everybody there, they're all connected. There's a big family. We have a lot of school spirit. Everybody's involved. They're always cheering and stuff like that. But one thing I would change is space. So in class, we always have to bring in more chairs, and we don't have enough desks and stuff. And we have to have share Chromebooks and stuff like that. So I think we just need more stuff there and more space and more room, more moving around space and stuff like that.
You're going to have plenty at the high school.
Angie Schoonover from Edison Middle School, and I brought 4 students with me tonight. Catherine Curry, she's a 7th grader. Caleb Johnson, he's a 6th grader. Rowan Abzug, he's a 6th grader. And Nate Allen, who's a 7th grader. And they will have plenty to say about what they like and maybe would like to see changed at Edison. So who wants to start?
Hey. I like the teachers and staff at Edison. They're very encouraging. I feel like I have a good support system at Edison, good encouragement, and lots of friends. I also like, I would like to see bigger hallways is definitely an issue. Like smaller kids like me tend to get ran over because it's so squished and compact. The classrooms are not very big. Last year, some kids didn't even have a chair. Some kids were kneeling at desks, which is a big problem. And also, the PE issue is a problem. We take a lot of time out of PE to get on buses, to take attendance, to get there, then come back and do the same thing over again. Yeah.
My name is Caleb Johnson, and something that I like about my current school is that we have like a lot of space, like we have a lot of classrooms, so so teachers can have technically we just have a lot of space and enough classrooms, but the classrooms aren't really that big, and I think that we could have more space in each classroom to have adequate room for small groups and such. And I also think that like our auditorium is big enough, but it would be nice if it were modernized, because it kind of is like, it's the floors are crooked and the seats are like written all over and scratched up, and I hope you take this into consideration.
Hello. So some of the things I really like at Edison, I think there is enough space in like the classes and in the room that we have, like in the hallways and everything. I think that we have enough space. There's a lot of resources for everyone. You can always find something if you don't have what you need in the class. Usually, if you have forgotten something and that is very important. And I also like I forgot what it was. Dang it. Can I get yeah, okay.
I have that all the time.
Hi, my name is Nate Allen. I'm in 7th grade. I go to Edison Middle School. I like how we have to have, I like our teachers because they're always there ready to help you whenever you need it. And I like how we have to have recess so we can just let out all our energy before all of our classes. I think a major problem is our gym. During sporting events, it tends to get crowded with the game and then all the people just sitting there. And sometimes there's conflicts, and if we could just expand the gym, I feel it would be better.
Okay, so the thing I had forgotten was the switching classes, like going around to multiple classes instead of staying in the one class, like in your elementary schools, is like it allows you to meet a lot more people, make a lot more relationships with certain people, and the teachers are really nice, so that means you get to meet a lot more of those as well. Some things I'd like to change is like Caleb said, the auditorium is needs re-updating. The floors are crooked. There isn't very much space backstage. The seats are all broken. Not all of them, but most of them. Some of them.
I broke one today.
I think the
We'll
gym
take it out of
thing
your
is
pay.
could be a problem because it's taking a lot of time to do all the stuff not involving actual gym time and taking away the gym part of gym. And so, yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Sorry. Another thing I wanted to add, which is one of the biggest issues I think for Edison, is handicap accessibility. Yes, there is a way, but you have to take pretty extreme measures to get to where you want to go. If you're on crutches or in a wheelchair, especially, no stairs. Like, there's very few entrances that don't have stairs. And the elevator is in one place, and I'm lucky that all my classes are on the side with the elevator, but kids on the other side, maybe not so lucky. And I'd also like to bring up the inconsistency of air conditioning. My math room is about 90 degrees some days, and then some days it's like 60. You don't know what's gonna happen with the air conditioning or lack of air conditioning.
I'd like to thank all of the middle school students. Are you done? Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys.
Okay. Oh. Hi. We're your student ambassadors from Central and Centennial High School, and we'd like to talk to you about hearing student voices in Unit 4 facilities discussions. So, yeah.
You may have seen us before, just...
Oh, so who are we? We are student ambassadors. The Unit 4 added the student representation to the Board of Education in 2014. And so we have one representative I'm from Centennial and Max from Central.
So one of us attends every board meeting, and we rotate this responsibility depending on our schedules. And this is to ensure that student voices are here, present for the most important district discussions.
And today we're here because we feel facilities, like as in school buildings and learning environments, greatly impact us. And we are aware of the ongoing discussions. We also have students located at Novak and Ready, and we want to represent their voices here too, although we go to Centennial and Central, so yeah.
So we created a survey to gather information about the students, mostly centered around facilities and what they would like to see. And we distributed these to Central and Centennial, as well as to Novak and Ready. And it was a 7-question survey, mixed. It was some of them were multiple choice and some of them were free response. And we got 542 student responses.
Yeah, so Mac and I worked to craft the questions in a way that we felt as students would best address our needs, concerns, opinions, and support. So, so some of the multiple choice questions that we created were: does Central Centennial need new facilities? And then you have a spectrum of 4 options that you could choose from for all of these questions. The second, how do you feel the school facilities affect your learning experience? How do you feel about the student atmosphere based on the school facilities? And how up to date do you feel the technology and lab equipment is at your school?
So some more of these, the open-ended questions that we had was, if you could build a school that was specifically designed for how you learn, what would it look like? If you could add one class that would make you really excited to go to school, what would it be? And tell us something that you are very interested in right now. How might that topic, subject, or issue play a role in your future? So we were just trying to get some responses for ideas for new programs and new facilities that students would want.
Yeah, so for the first question, whether, just simply put, the Central and Centennial need new school facilities and the perspective of students. At Centennial, 87.7% of students partially or strongly agree. And at Central,
yeah, at Central, clearly an overwhelming majority of students feel that they need new facilities, and seems to be very high numbers at all 4 schools.
Yeah. And then so more specifically, how do you feel the school facilities affect your learning experience? So this question, I do want to make a comment on saying that I think, so when we originally created the question, we wanted to specifically pertain to like, do you think your school facilities, if you go to Centennial Central, do you think the Centennials or Central's facilities benefit or like does it positively or negatively affect your learning experience? And so, but I think I realized at a point when I was having a conversation with my peers who were part of the survey, a lot of them understood it as in like, how do you feel the concept of facilities itself affect your learning experience? So you will notice, and I noticed this as I was entering each survey sheet, there is a discrepancy between this answer and the other answers. Like, for example, in many of the sheets that I entered, students who, for the most part, reflected an opinion saying that we need better facilities, here would say, yes, facilities positively affect our learning experience, saying that, you know, the concept of facilities positively affect your learning experience. But with that said, like Centennial and I mean, the majority of students, I think, believe that facilities do have an important presence in their learning experience.
Yeah, I think students at Central maybe interpret it in different ways as well. Some of them thinking about Central's facilities as they are right now, and some of them maybe thinking in terms of what you were saying. So it seems pretty split with this question, but maybe this wasn't the best question to gauge their feelings.
Oh, okay. And then how do you feel about the student atmosphere based on the school facility? So we were a bit creative when we were crafting the multiple choice options. And so, well, I think the majority of students, I think, lean towards the more unsupportive side, either saying that it was dull and gloomy or mediocre, but not exceptionally inviting. Yeah.
And, well, seems like we're missing a couple percentages, but the facilities, it seems similar response from Central as Centennial. Most students seem to feel that, the majority of students feel that the facilities aren't great, but it's good to see that, well, maybe it's not good to see that 35% felt that they were not appealing and gloomy, but at least 52% didn't completely hate them.
And at Novak, the majority of students also weren't so favorable. Yeah.
seems like things were a little more evenly split at Ready. So with more even distribution between all four responses. And so perhaps Ready's facilities are a little more suitable to the students than Central, Centennial, and Novak.
Okay, so now we're going to go over for the free response questions. So for the first one, we asked if you could build a school that was specifically designed for how you learn, what would it look like? And well, those were the general themes that were reflected in the free responses. And from my experience of entering in, we did it the old-fashioned way. We did a paper survey, and I entered in it electronically. So I do know what they said. I think the majority of students reflected on how they would like their learning experience to be more interactive and more project-based and more hands-on experiences, like with career-oriented classes or AP classes, or as STEM is becoming a big thing as well, like a lot of experiences regarding those. So more hands-on experiences. And I think I agree with that when I say that the majority of my classes that I found most interesting and that intrigued me to participate the most in were those that demanded my active participation with interactive and engaging projects and experiences. So, yeah.
Yeah, seems like the general theme is that students have a variety of interests and they want to be able to have facilities where they can pursue these more specific interests in more detail and be able to get more of a in-depth and career-oriented path going, instead of, not being able to really pursue their love for visual arts or their technology.
Then if you could add one class that would make you really excited to go to school, what would it be? So those were the general themes. I'm trying to remember, like, some things that I was like really, I thought was very eye-catching was like all sorts of like, I think like game programming 101, like digital literacy 101, a lot of technology related things. One thing that I did really find interesting was like this like culinary experience for young adults or something. So I think students just generally want classes that are more like interactive and somewhat directly relevant to their life, and that makes a lot of sense for me too. Like a lot of classes that touch on like real life issues or current events or other topics, I guess, make me feel like my education is more like directly relevant with what I'm doing. And so, yeah.
Yeah, what I think I see from these responses is that students really want to be able to take classes that will be directly relevant to them in their careers after high school. Like, for example, medical students really, you can take anatomy and AP biology, but they really want to get a head start on their possible medical career, or, just, again, the career focus in whatever field they choose to go into. They want to get a head start in high school.
And then tell us something that you are really interested in right now. How might that topic, subject, or issue play a role in your future? And so a lot of the classes that students talked about, like, for example, students in the social sciences and humanities, I think a lot of the examples that they provided were specific topics regarding like social justice and other relevant issues like associated with their class that gave them an idea of what they wanted to pursue. Like some people wrote about, oh, I want to work in a nonprofit or a public service. And then science and technology as well, like it would directly relate with what they wanted to do. Like I wanted to go into software engineering or coding, or and coding has helped me do this. And I think that also emphasizes how much it is important that we have a lot of interactive spaces and like areas that can truly like engage us in our learning. So more like interactive like language labs and just hubs for students to work on entrepreneurship and practice that, and like computers and a lot of I think that would really help students participate in more interactive and engaging experiences that they feel affect and play a role in their future.
Yeah, students really love when their classes like are very relevant to something that they can pursue outside of their classes and get some real like current experience in things related to math and science or to the history. And they really engage the most with their classes when it feels real and relevant to them.
Yeah, and I kept referring to students as students in like third person. I think I agree when they say like we feel that this would help our future. So, yeah, that's it.
Thank you, guys. I think you did a great job. Put a lot of work into that, and it was neat to hear you talk about, how you ask a question or what question you ask and kind of lead your survey a little bit. And so that was neat to see you guys register that. And so I think you both will be able to use that experience then too. So thank you for the report. And again, good luck and congratulations. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Next, we have 10B, Educational Technology Update. Mr. Dave Homan.
Good evening. My name is Dave Holman. I'm the Director of Educational Technology. And I just wanted to spend a few minutes to just give a brief update of some things that we're doing and some things that we're planning, and kind of how we are shifting things around. So the first thing I wanted to do was kind of put this in perspective, kind of talk about the mindset shifts that we're going through in our department, in the district, really. Thinking about these four areas: infrastructure, devices, data, and staff capacity. When you think about the old mindset of infrastructure, we have a lot of network equipment out there, but they only are replaced when completely broke. That was just the old mindset. Kind of the same thing with devices. The old mindset was you put a computer in a room, and if it's still turning on, that's great. But when it starts smoking, that's when we would replace it. And this wasn't a fault of anyone. This was just the reality of the situation was that the computer was really meant to take attendance, and if it didn't work, that's fine. You just put attendance out in the hall, and someone will pick it up. So the new mindset for infrastructure, we're really being proactive about all these things. We're replacing equipment before it completely dies. We're putting in equipment that we can monitor and filter. And then for the devices, we're thinking about the refresh cycle. We're thinking about making sure that the devices are working, current software, and working for students and staff. As far as data goes, the old mindset was just to kind of dump data in some folders once a month, and then external data stayed external. If you wanted to know how you did in MAP or AIMSweb, you'd have to go to that actual website. So now we are looking at the T&L department, working with the data team, really putting together more timely, accurate data that's accessible and works for making these instructional decisions. As far as staff capacity goes, the old mindset was, here's the power button and good luck. But the new mindset is, these are critical digital tools that are supporting what we're doing. We're adopting, curriculum that is so heavily based with technology, and this is what we do. This is what we do for students to think creatively, to collaborate, and teach and learn. So this new mindset in all these kind of areas of technology really requires a lot of focus. It really requires a lot of specific focus, and I think I just want to thank the board for approving the additional position of Director of Information Systems and Network Security, because I think it is important that we have people focusing on more specific items. So that brings me to this next slide here that kind of graphically displays kind of the shifting roles, where I see myself as before I was all in the red there. I was in the educational technology department, but really focused on the technology side of things. That those critical things that just had to work, that had to be up and running. So I see myself with our TBA, which is John. Sorry, I made this before you officially approved him, so I couldn't put his name in there. But with John, really taking the lead on the technology side of the technology department, I can take the lead on the educational side of the department. Still working with the data team, still working with technicians, really, and but taking a step out and working more with the teaching and learning department, but still being a bridge to the technology department. On this slide, this is kind of looking at some specific things in the middle there, but then more in general, big picture planning that we're doing. So the purple represents this big picture planning. Dr. Taylor is working with Janet Herdman from Educational Collaborators, and they are co-chairing a district tech planning committee that myself and John will be helping with, will be co-planning with. And this group will take in a big group of stakeholders and really take a step back and look at the big picture and think about, we have all these things going on in the middle, but really making sure that we have a clear vision, a clear path, and have a clear plan for the next few years, at least few years, as we're doing these things. So just quickly kind of going down these columns in the infrastructure this summer, going into next year, we're upgrading switches, we're upgrading our filtering, we're increasing bandwidth. The following year, we're going to be replacing cabling at 3 buildings, and this is all leveraging E-rate funding. Again, increasing bandwidth. The following year, potentially upgrading our access points, but again, down the road here, down the years, this is where John will be really spearheading this and being able to focus on keeping our network up and running and secure. As far as devices go, I'll get into a little bit more detail in a second, but we're basically replacing a quarter of the classroom computers every year, and we're adding devices for students every year, and I'll go over that in just a second. As far as data goes, again, it's just continuing to provide timely, accurate data to make these instructional decisions. And then as far as staff capacity goes, and this is where I see myself being able to play a bigger role, really working with building principals in their digital leadership, working with classroom teachers. Next year, really we'making sure that all classroom teachers have that toolkit to work in a one-to-one environment. Again, we've always used ISTE standards kind of as our guiding standards, and then again, me being able to monitor this more, joining the teaching and learning department with walkthroughs in the building to really see things through, see how they're working, and then down the road, getting people into personalized learning networks, making sure that now that we've got this one-to-one toolkit, we know what we're doing in this environment, we're really digging in, all teachers are digging in and doing the 4 C's, critical thinking, collaboration, communication, and creativity. And then, again, going down the column, just thinking more outside the box kind of things, ed camp style, professional development or hybrid classes, those things that you can really start taking advantage of the environment down the road. And then finally, I do want to talk on this chart. This is talking about where devices are going over the next few years, and I wanted to walk through this going from left to right. So on the top, if you look at the K-5, next year we are planning on adding carts to all 5th grade classes, and then moving around some of the 4th grade classes so we can be sure that all 4th and 5th grade are one-to-one across the district. And we've talked this through with building principals already, and they are good to go. The following year, we would provide carts for all 4th grade classrooms. So the 5th grade keeps their carts from last year. 4th grade gets carts. Everything else stays the same within the building. So the buildings are determining where they can move around the rest of their carts. And the following year, school year 19, this is when all 3rd grade classrooms would receive their carts. Again, everything else staying the same. And at this point, there are enough carts in the district to say we have a one-to-one environment in grades 2 through 5. And then finally, in school year 20, 2nd grades classrooms would receive the carts. So 5th has 3-year-old devices, 4th has 2-year-old devices, 3rd has 1-year-old devices, and 2nd grade gets the new devices. Now at this point, the devices that have been in the building, these are getting old, so we're retiring them, we're using them, we're distributing them in the K1 area. If there is any value, we can sell them back to recoup some of the costs. And then school year 21, we would reset the process. We would start over with 5th grade. So we're always making sure that we have a 4-year-old or less device in the building. Going across the middle school, next year is a pretty big transition year. We will be adding 10 carts at each middle school building. The principals and the tech coach and teaching and learning we've all been working to make sure that those devices next year are distributed in a way that all core classes are in a one-to-one environment. Other classes are still needing to share some devices, but they are available. But in this year, school year 17, this is when we really take a look at how is it going to look to really go one-to-one, to really let these middle schoolers take these devices home and take ownership of the devices. Because the following year, in school year 18, that's when we would, instead of getting adding carts to the building, we would get devices and assign them to 6th graders. So 6th grader get a new device and a bag or a sleeve, something for protection. Then the 7th graders in the building would be able to use last year's carts, the carts that were added last year. And then the 8th graders could use the remaining devices from 2 years ago, from last year. So the school year 16 devices would go to the 8th graders. And then additional devices could be used as backup or go to the high school. And so then school year 19 and 20 kind of just continues this process of 6th graders get the new devices. The 7th graders use the device that they were assigned last year, and same with the 8th grader. 8th grader uses the device assigned last year. And that continues to go. But those 8th grade students are bringing their devices with them to the high schools. That'll make sense in a couple blocks here. So going across 9-12, next year, again, working with teaching and learning, working with the building principals, we will be adding 11 new carts, and they've, knowing where devices are now and knowing where devices could go next year, they've been able to get them in the hands of PLCs and course select groups, so they can get the most out of those devices next school year. And again, we're really taking a look at how does a one-to-one environment look this year. We're really trying, creating the policies, creating the plans for what happens if a kid breaks it, what happens if they forget to charge it. Those are ironed out in this year, because then in school year 18, that's when new devices, so not carts, this would be devices and a sleeve or a bag, would go to the sophomores. Then that year, the school year 17 carts that were added would get broken down and go to the juniors. And then the same thing, the seniors would get the school year 16 one-to-one pilot carts. And then older devices at the building and devices that are coming up from the middle school would go to freshman year. So again, this process continues. So the following year, again, sophomores get their new devices. The juniors have theirs from last year, seniors have theirs from last year. And the graduating devices now are available for a few things. They could, we could give the seniors an option to purchase if there's still value in them for them. We could have, since there are 4-year-old devices, they could go, or 3 years of use, they would go to the 9th grade class, because the 9th grade class, they all have devices that have 3 years of use. Or they just go into reserve stock for the 612. And that process then continues. We continue to feed the sophomore class. They use it for 3 years and then have an option to purchase if there's one more year value in it, or it goes into the freshman year, or it's still back to recoup costs. Those decisions are made after that time. So I know that kind of getting into the nitty gritty of this. I wanted to try to get this picture of our changing department and really how we're putting a lot of energy into these different places. But I did want to go through this to kind of get an idea that that we do have steps that are for that we've thought through. But we're still thinking through a lot of the logistics of how this will work out. So I would be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Questions for Dave? Ms. Stuckey.
Okay, I wrote several of my questions down.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. When we talk about adding 10 carts at the middle school level, does that make each of our middle school classrooms one-to-one, or is it still certain classrooms have devices and in other classes they're not used as much?
We've mapped out all of the. I can show you the map, but we have a map of all of the middle school buildings with all of the available carts, and we ensured that all core classes are one-to-one. They have carts available for them in next year with those 10 additional carts.
Okay.
But there are still spaces that aren't one-to-one, but there are shared carts that are available. So outside of the carts that are, in a few locations there's a need to share a cart between a few classes.
Okay, well, because like for PE, you shouldn't be playing with a computer, you should be physically active. For music or like an art painting type class, I could see where you wouldn't be using a computer as much. But thank you for telling us about the one-to-one classes. Now, is the high school becoming one-to-one? And if not, how close are they to getting there?
Well, with this plan, with adding the 11 next year, so we already have, going back 2 years, the buildings have added carts that were shared carts. So they have a number of those carts. Last year, we added 10 pilot carts, so 10 classrooms. And then with this school year 17, adding those carts, that puts us in a that number plus the school year 18 devices that we would add puts us in a place where we're 1-to-1.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great. Okay. Are there any other schools that you know of doing that senior purchase option where it's your senior year, you have the opportunity to purchase your device?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we've heard of other schools. I can get you list, but yeah.
That's okay. What I'm really curious about is the schools that are currently offering the senior purchase option.
Mm-hmm.
Do we have any feedback as to what rate their seniors are purchasing their devices at? Like, is it 25%? Is it 50%? Is it 75%?
That's a good. I'll reach out to the
Okay.
districts I know that are doing that.
Yeah, I'd be
Mhm.
really curious because I know that when my son went to college, he bought a new computer. And the original plan was he was going to use it all 4 years. And then at the start of his senior year, he bought a new computer.
Hmm.
He found that it wasn't a bad computer. It just wasn't working as well as he liked it to work.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Mm-hmm.
To what end what will we do with that information, Lynn?
well, when we talk about cycling devices back down to freshmen or possibly putting them in reserve or possibly reselling them, knowing roughly the rate that the purchases are will potentially give us a guideline, which admittedly may change, regarding what we'll have available for our reuse, I guess is how I would phrase it.
Okay. If we discover there's many schools have a 90% rate of seniors purchasing, then we might need to relook at how we're going to have reserves for
Yeah.
ourselves. Mm-hmm.
Whereas if we find it's a 10%, then we know we have reasonable odds of having a good reserve stock and a good amount available for our
Mhm.
freshmen.
Yeah. We will certainly, all along the way, we will be tracking usage metrics and
Okay. Okay.
making.
And then another question too. At what rate now are we allowing students to either bring in like iPads or laptops from home or using their smartphones within classrooms?
Not as much, and it's again, it's still I think it's still kind of based on your experience in teacher by teacher, so that we don't, we never truly adopted a BYOD policy that stated that, but some teachers do take advantage of that, and some don't.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks, Lynn. Any further questions for Dr. Baker?
I appreciate the technology plan. I think it sets it up very nicely to see how things will be implemented and changed around. And I'd also like to say, just not on the equipment side, but the fact that a third grader can log in to Google, access Google Docs just still blows my mind. So great job on everything that you're doing.
Thanks.
Thanks, Janina. Any further? Dave, thank you for the report.
Okay.
Appreciate
Thank
it. Okay. That brings us to 10C, 2016-17 goals and indicators. And I will turn it over to Dr. Wiegand.
Got the award for brevity. I just want to thank the board members who have provided input and feedback regarding the goals and indicators for next year. And also, if you still have feedback that you'd like to give, please do so. We're working with the executive team as well as other stakeholders at the end of this week, and then plan on bringing the document to the board on June 13th.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Wiegand. Questions for Dr. Wiegand? Comments? None? All right. We'll move on. Okay. This is where we moved 11A and B. And so it'll be 10D, if I did that correctly. Lead higher equal opportunity schools collaboration. Oh. See, I did do it wrong. So it'll be 11B will be 10D, and at portable classroom at Jefferson Middle School. I'll turn it over to Mr. Lockman.
Good evening. What we are bringing forward for the board's attention
this evening is information regarding portable classrooms that the district intends to add at 2 additional buildings, both of which already have portable classrooms, but are needed to address spacing issues within those buildings based on student population and scheduling challenges that, based on information that we have at this point relative to schedules for next year, those will be necessary to accommodate appropriate student learning. And so wanted to talk through the logistics of that. I know there have been some questions regarding cost and and some conflicts between information that may have been passed along. So just want to clarify the cost of the portable itself is one cost. The cost of having a portable is a different cost because of the need to, for example, at some buildings, a survey is required. Architectural services are required. The cost of furnishing the portable classrooms, the cost of running telephone, internet, alarm, power out to the portable. And those costs based on existing structures, locations relative to the school building, those costs are a little bit different for each campus based on exactly where those line up, but are questions that are issues that can be addressed. It's just a matter of the cost being a little bit different for each one. So if there are questions regarding some of the specifics, I know Mr. Johnson and Ms. Franklin are here to answer any questions that there may be regarding the need and kind of what has come together as they've put schedules together in their buildings for next year. But these are things that will come out of the existing operation and maintenance budget. But again, wanted to, particularly in the context of the ongoing facilities discussions that are happening at the board level and within the community, have an understanding of the need for the additional portable spaces at these 2 campuses, in addition to the portable that will be going in at Central.
Thank you, Mr. Lockman. Are there any questions? Ms. Stuckey.
Following up with your statement at the beginning about one cost to purchase the portable and another one to set it up and operate it, would a fair analogy perhaps be purchasing a vehicle where it's one cost to purchase the vehicle and yet another cost for maintenance and daily operation of the vehicle?
Correct, and I would actually draw that to leasing a vehicle, because we are in essence leasing the portables.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Any further questions, Ms. Richards? Thanks, Lynn.
Thanks for the clarification. I know I was one of the people that was asking questions that more or less went, huh? So I couldn't even really articulate my questions. But yeah, I think I was surprised by the difference in size between just the leasing, which is an annual cost, right?
Correct.
You're right. So there's that, which is around $13,500 or so, and then the amount of money that it takes to operate it, which is and set it up.
Sure.
So some of that operations and setup will be a one-time cost.
That's correct.
And then some of it will come back from year to year.
Correct.
But you also, thank you, you clarified the reason why these 2 portables were coming to us now. And it's what you just said. It was based on information for planning for next year.
Yeah.
So I appreciate the clarifications and helping me ask the right questions instead of just, huh?
Absolutely.
Any further questions? Can we kind of lump 10E into this and go to portable classrooms at Centennial?
Sure. Same issue. A little different. I know. The reasons at the buildings may be a little bit different, based on existing space, but same concept. Yes.
All right. So, are there building-specific questions then for Centennial, or are we comfortable moving on? Comfortable? All right, we will move on. Thank you, Mr. Lockman. That takes
We
us.
now move to the song and dance portion.
Yes, I've been known.
Chris, can I ask one question? Can I ask one question? One question?
You may ask a question now.
No, we really are
if
going
you
to.
would.
Will the portable at Centennial be where the other?
Oh, we've moved on.
I know. Sorry.
That's the plan. That's
I
the
know.
plan.
Yes.
Yes.
That is the plan.
Okay.
Yes.
What was the question? Oh. There we go. All right, so the action agenda then is 11A, which is the Lead Higher Equal Opportunity Schools Collaboration. I will turn that over to Dr. Taylor.
Good evening, everyone. This is an opportunity for me to, before I provide information on this, is to remind us about some good things that have been going on in our district. So that's always fun to do. If you recall, we have many advanced placement classes. We've added several in the past few years. I think we're up to 20 now being offered in our buildings. Advanced placement, or AP, are courses that our students can take, at the end of which, and they don't have to take the course to do so, but at the end of which they take an exam, and that exam, depending on how they do on that exam, offers them the opportunity, usually at most universities, to receive college credit. That you shoot for a 3 or above. It's out of 5. 3 is generally considered a strong score in an advanced placement exam. And so over the past few years, we have made some great strides in this area. I'd like to remind us that we won an award in particular in this area because of our increased number of minority and low-income students taking our courses while at the same time maintaining an overall high score in these areas. And so if we go back to 2012, the summer after they take it in the spring, we get the scores the following summer. For example, we had 409 exams taken. This last year, so not right now, but 2015 grads, we had 482 exams taken. And so you can see the big increase there. And I have it broken out by demographic, but I don't want to spend too much time on that because we present this before. But if we go back to 2012 and look at our students from low income populations, we had 49 exams taken then. Last year, we're up to 93. And so you can see why that happened. Again, across demographic areas as well, we've seen increases, so racial and cultural demographics. So good stuff. We also, having said that, I said you have to maintain your score. So it can't be that you just add a bunch of tests. You have to continue to maintain high scores. So if we go back to 2012, we had 160 students receive a 3 or above. And let me say 160 exams. That's not necessarily students, 3 or above. And then last year, 210 received 3 or above. So a great increase there. We continue to have a mean score higher than the state, higher than national, higher than global. We've moved up both high schools. A lot of credit to Greg and Joe out there and their teams and all the efforts going to do this. And so we're going to continue that, obviously. It's very important to us. Because of that, we were approached by the Office of the Illinois Secretary of Education and Illinois State Board of Education to be part of a matching grant opportunity. And that is what you see in front of you today, which is a Lead Higher Equal Opportunity Schools Collaboration. This, we believe, having met with the principals and people from this group and other people throughout several months, will help us further this cause to open opportunity and doors to all students, as many students as we can, to our most rigorous courses. And so that is what you have in front of you today. It is a matching grant. It is total would be about $48,800 for our district, for both high schools, to be part of this for a year. What this group will do for us is through surveys, through analysis of our own data, through surveys of all students, all faculty, analysis of our own data, they put together a profile of each of our students in our district. And from that profile, it basically says, not our district, in the high schools, incoming 8th graders once they come, AP potential. Does this student have whatever these particular indicators are to move into our highest rigorous courses? And so I'm sure we've done an excellent job over the past 3 or 4 years, but my guess is there's many more students that we can reach to and open our doors to. And so that's what this opportunity does for us. We're one of only 20 districts in the state that was offered this because, and what they said to us is it's, you can have policy, you can have things that you do, but when it's the heart and the drive, we're seeing progress made, and therefore please join us in this. So while it's a hefty sum, it is an honor, and we're proposing that to you today.
Okay, so I need a motion to approve the expenditure
So
for the
moved.
matching. Shannon Kleppel. Questions? Ms. Stuckey.
I don't know that it's so much a question as a discussion. When I first saw this last week, I asked some questions, and I've been thinking about it for the last several days. I will be voting against it, and I'm going to explain now why I'm voting against it. I think this is a good idea. The reality is what they're doing is they're data mining our students. And I'm not opposed to data mining our students. I'm sure we could find many fascinating insights by doing that. I think we could make ourselves a much better school district by doing that. What I'm opposed to is the fact that, first off, we're paying them $48,000 to do this, because the going rate for a data miner is roughly $100,000 a year. So we could hire our own person and not just work on AP stuff, but other things to help make our students better learners. Secondly, if this were 3 to a 5-year project, I'd be a little more inclined to vote for it. But just doing it for 1 year and then potentially not doing it again in the future, it's helpful, but it's not the continuous carry through that is very helpful. Do you see what I'm saying there?
Sure. I think it is data. There definitely data mining going on here, but they also come to us monthly to each high school and help with our equity teams, which we will be creating in order to create structures to maintain this. So although there are definitely some data things going on there that we may or may not be able to do, quite honestly, there's a process that's going through next year where it's working with the high school teams in order to get this through. And so that's why it's a 1 year time. It's to say we come in 1 year and you continue. Continuing the data mining part, they do ask for that to be continued. Well, if we want it to, it is much decreased the following year, but it is something we'd have to decide after the first year.
Which actually leads to another question, because when you go through the contract, there's a point at which they say we have to pay $450 a year to participate in a particular database.
Sure, I can explain.
And is that cost a straight $450 for the 10 years we're expected to do it, or is that potentially an increasing cost in the future?
Well, I'd have to ask Tommy to look at the contract in that sense. That $450, though, going to this particular group that they say is actually a system that we wanted to participate in. We had piloted Naviance through our counseling offices, and it offered us that opportunity. It's a system that our students then would have access to say, okay, a student came out of Champaign Unit 4 schools and went to these particular universities. I can now see how I compare. So it's a clearinghouse. I compare as a student to these other students that came out. So it's actually being given to not only our counselors, but to our families to say, you know, I have access to this. You can start looking at other students that came out of our district and where they went, like for summer. We know who came out of our district that went to Stanford, what kind of scores and things that they had, and other future families can see that. That cost $450 for us to do that. We had piloted it. We had worked it through Naviance a little bit. We were working, but we'd like to expand that. So that's something we'd like to do for our families, regardless of whether or not, if we, this goes through. The $450. That's $450 a year for 10 years.
And we know that that's going to be a fixed cost.
Well, I think that's more the contract area. I read it as a fixed cost, and Tommy's reviewed the contract. But
The MOU indicates that that's an estimated cost.
So it could change in the future.
It could.
By the company.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Lynn. Ms. Richards?
Just a question to follow up on that. It sounds to me like what you're saying is that this is designed to build on the efforts that have already been taking place.
Yes.
But would you say that it's maybe a more systematic identification of,
Absolutely.
of students who? So when you look at that, when you look at this, you see that it's contributing something that you can point to and say this is going above and beyond what we were able to do before.
I think it will offer us more than we've been able to do. We have plans at both schools in place now that have triggers and things that we reach, and we hit grades, and we have marks that we do that we've done, and I think this will take us beyond what we've been able to do, and help us create the structures to continue. So they'll be with us just the 1 year.
So there would be benefits after the 1 year.
That absolutely.
Even if we're not paying the
yes, that is the
$48,000.
plan.
Okay,
that is the plan.
Thanks.
Thanks, Kathy. Ms. Shannon?
I just want to say that I really appreciate all your efforts in the past and searching out something new to help us go that next step. Because there's a lot of students out there who just don't fit the mold
Mhm.
that
That's what
we're
they
not
do.
going to see unless we look more deeply at the data. And, you know, we all have our personal biases and what we think an AP student looks like. And I love that we are looking for students who don't necessarily look like our biases would tell us. So
That's
I
exactly
think
what it's designed.
Exactly. I think that's great.
Thanks.
Thanks, Kathy. Dr. Baker?
I think Kathy stole my point. I mean, that's excellent. That's what we're doing anyway in higher ed, is looking for equity gaps. So everyone's trying to do this work and trying to figure out, and the benefits beyond this year will be amazing because we'll know what they're looking at. We'll have all of that to then be able to do it ourselves, or at least scale it back a little bit. But that's the point of engaging, I think, in something like this. Couple of questions. Do we already do the clearinghouse, student clearinghouse?
We had done it through Naviance for a little bit, but I wouldn't say it's known as much to our high schools. Greg and Joe, do you?
Like the student tracker specifically? No? Yes?
We just really started piloting Naviance
Yes.
this spring, so
It's new.
to have a full answer to that would be really tough.
Okay.
Hmm. But we're going to.
Counselors are positive about it, and I've talked to a few juniors who they like it.
I was more from the district side of where our students are going.
Well, we get reports from state schools often, but not this. This is a much more expansive, and this is much more that we can, again, seeing scores, seeing the different things that the students come out with for a profile into that clearinghouse going all over the world or the country.
Yes.
That we don't have access to right away now.
Okay. And one other thing, I know that through the state, they were talking about a few more rules for data mining, specifically for students, and that there would be, I think, legislation coming out saying that if you were giving data out to someone else, that you would have to alert parents. Is that correct? Is that through?
I
K-12?
honestly, I'd have to look to make sure that we do, but I think we'd have to look. I don't know if that's
I know
any
it's higher
different.
ed, but I'm not sure.
Because
if
we're
K-12.
doing this through a grant through ISBE, it's probably covered because it's Illinois State
From
Board
there?
of Ed. Yes, but we should look into that.
Okay.
Ms. Armstrong. Thanks, Janina.
Quick one, I promise. So when they come on board and they're a partnership with you, who's inputting all that data in order to have it in that? Is that on our staff?
No, we need to give them data, and they're doing the surveys and inputting it into their
That's
system.
what I wanted to know. And you
Mhm.
both want this
Oh, yeah.
piece to it.
That's why they're here if you
Well,
have any
I
questions
like
for them.
seeing their face. I like
Because I'm
having
sure
their-
they'd like to go.
I like seeing this. But it, just nod your head, Joe. Like that. So I guess that was my concern, is that, is it putting onus on us, but that's where the staff comes into play? Okay.
At least what we're going to get is, we've done this, we focused like this for a long time.
Yeah.
I think what we're looking forward to is having new data, but also having them come alongside us to make sure that the systems and supports that we have in place, they may have some better ideas or some, at least collaboratively help us with some new ideas. So I think after this year, we'll have a lot more information if you want to continue it or not.
Thank you. Yeah, that's it. Thank you.
Yeah, no.
Summer? Awesome. Last meeting, we suddenly get involved. No.
Okay. I just wanted to say, I think a lot of students that I met through other opportunities to network with students elsewhere, their schools use this program, and I think a lot of them have told me that it's very beneficial and helpful, regarding for example, at our school, when we held our mentorship panel with underclassmen, a lot of the concerns that I think they were addressing, and the concerns that I also had at that time, was sometimes I need a better guideline and a better insight into what I'm doing and what perhaps would benefit me, or how I can leverage myself better. And I think that sort of information, when it's accessible to people, definitely helps. And so, so a lot of the students, I was just wanted to say that a lot of students that I've met through opportunities regarding my college or other places have used this program in our school, and they tell me it's very beneficial. So just fine.
Thanks, Summer. I had one question. Would this be then software that a family coming into the district would be able to look at and see where students
We are kind of talking about two different things, right? We're talking about our in-house software that they're going to work with us in their data system, and then what I think the other The $450 is what, yes, other people would be able to have access to and see for the universities and colleges in the future.
Yeah.
It's a very,
That's
yes.
a
That our students
big
and families
plus
would have
for
that,
it,
yes.
Yep. So,
Yes.
all right. Jonathan? No questions. All righty. See, I put Summer on the spot. I had to put someone else on the spot too. So. All righty. So, I do need we have a motion. We have a second. I am second. Any further questions? All right, Tammy, could you please call roll?
Ms. Shannon?
Yes.
Mr. Cluffell?
Yes.
Ms. Armstrong?
Yes.
Dr. Baker?
Yes.
Ms. Richards?
Yes.
Ms. Stuckey?
No.
Mr. Westfield?
The motion passes 6-1. All right, moving along to the consent agenda and new and unfinished business. I'm going to read through these very quickly and we'll take it. All right. 12A, 2016-2017 secondary school science curriculum adoption. Mike presented on this about a month ago, and so this will be approving that. Very good. 12B is approval of Edison concrete step repair change order, a $500 change to address some unforeseen scope of work. 12C is approval of resolution authorizing disposal of unused, broken, or surplus equipment. We have two very old, unusable vans in the district that we'll be getting rid of, scrapping out. Human resource changes. Ken, these are the standard for the time of the month. E is Kids Plus administrative responsibilities and compensation. A restructuring of the position with Ms. Simmons leaving.
I just want to point out, Mr. Kleppel, that both Ash and Erica are here waiting patiently in the back to
Awesome.
wave.
Okay. Well, very important. So, and yes, that concludes the consent agenda. I need a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved.
Second.
I have Richards and Westfield. Questions? Should we wait for Miss Armstrong? I believe took a quick bathroom break. No? Judy? I'm okay. I'm being told I am okay. I haven't run into this problem yet in the year I've been doing this. So, Tammy, please call roll.
Ms. Richards?
Yes.
Mr. Westfield? Yes. Ms. Armstrong? Yes. Dr. Baker?
Yes.
Mr. Cluffell?
Yes.
Ms. Shannon?
Yes.
Ms. Stuckey?
Yes.
Motion at this time passes 6-0 with a skip. Congratulations, everyone. Mike, thanks for all your work. You guys, thank you. All right. I am going to do one thing while we're still in open session. I am going to bring action agenda new business, the student discipline, student number 213452. It is a recommendation of the Board of Education that student number 213452 should be expelled from Centennial High School for the remainder of the 2015-16 school year and first semester of the 2016-17 school year, and should be reassigned to an alternative setting at the administration's direction for violating Conduct Code number 18, physical confrontation with staff, number 19, physical confrontation with student, and number 31, other acts that endanger. Such expulsion shall be held in abeyance so long as the student meets the attendance and behavioral requirements of the assigned placement. If such requirements are met upon expiration of the reassigned term, the expulsion will be vacated and the student may return to his or her regularly assigned school. I need a motion to approve student discipline.
Second.
I have Westfield Stuckey. Questions? Tammy, please call roll.
Mr. Westfield? Yes. Ms. Stuckey?
Yes.
Ms. Armstrong?
Yes.
Dr. Baker?
Yes.
Mr. Cluffell?
Yes.
Ms. Richards?
Yes.
Ms. Shannon?
Yes.
Motion passes 7-0. All right. We'll circle back around to agenda item 13, executive session. A motion to move into executive session. A closed session in accordance with the Illinois Open Meeting Act 5 ILCS 120/2C will be necessary to consider one or more of the following subjects, including but not limited to employee appointments, employment, compensation, dismissals, complaints, 120/2C2 negotiations, 120/2C5, property acquisition, lease, purchase, 120/2C9, student discipline, and 120/2C10, the placement of individual students in special education programs and other matters relating to individual students. And finally, 120/2C11, actual/potential litigation, specifically OCR number 05-14-1360. Also, Ross versus Champaign Community Unit School District number 4 et al. And finally, Harmon versus Champaign Community Unit School District number 4. I need a motion to enter into exec session.
So moved.
Second.
I'll give it to Stuckey Shannon. Questions? Tammy, please call roll.
Yes.
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 The motion passes 7-0. The time is now 8:07, and the Board of Education is in executive session.